This is Being Authentic with Patrick Farabaugh on the Mike 92.1 and the Mike921.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Being Authentic. My name is Patrick Farabaugh. I am the publisher of Our Lives magazine. That's Madison's LGBT magazine. And as part of that, I'm really excited to help Pride Fest promote their lineup, including our next guest who's on the phone with us right now. Welcome to the show, Sandra Bernhard. Sandra.
Hello, hi.
Welcome. So you're in New York, right?
I am in New York,
Yeah.
yes.
I'll tell you something that you would have no idea to know, but many years ago, I was one of the art directors of Out magazine when we had you on the cover.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I've been on the cover a couple of times, and they were great covers and great pieces, and it was always fun to do a collaboration with Out magazine.
Yeah, this was the time that the cover had the purple hue to it.
Oh yes, that was very cool.
Yeah. So Pride Fest. Have you been to Wisconsin before?
Oh sure, I've been to Wisconsin a few times. Love it there. I love the Midwest. I'm a Midwest girl, so. For me, it's like being home. I'm from Michigan originally. So, I love the vibe. I like, the solid nature of, the Midwesterners. And, it's just a great place.
Yeah, and you're coming at a good time of year. The polar vortex is long gone at this point.
Thank God for all of us.
Yeah, I don't know if New York got it as bad.
Oh, well, we got it bad, yeah. But, and New York is different because it's a city, and within 2 hours, the snow has all been plowed away. We're kind of lucky in that way, but it was a cold winter.
So what has Sandra Bernhard been up to lately?
Well, a lot of different stuff. Kind of starting last fall, I was shooting a recurring role on this ABC family show called Switch to Birth, playing an art instructor. It was kind of a cool role they wrote for me. I've been on the road doing various, different versions of the show I'm bringing to Pride Fest. I've been writing a couple of scripted TV shows for myself to be in, and now we're trying to attach producers and take them out and try to get them set up at different either cable or network, depending on where they all fall. I'm getting money together to shoot my latest one-woman show, which you'll see part of at Pride Fest to do as a film, and and here at home with my my girlfriend and our daughter, who's a sophomore in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now is the show part of Sandyland?
It is part of Sandyland. It's been an ever evolving sort of show that I've been doing for about 2 or 3 years. But every year at Christmas time, right after Christmas to New Year's, I do my run at Joe's Pub and kind of write an entirely new show with some of the pieces that, the anchors that stay. But so every year I kind of just keep adding to it, and it just evolves into a new show. And that's just kind of how I do my shows these days.
Yeah, so lately, what's kind of inspiring your material?
Well, it's always a lot about my travels, Last year I traveled to Europe, and of course I've been touring a lot in the States to places down south and places I hadn't been in a long time, and you just get to see the American landscape. So a lot of it's about the American landscape juxtaposed against the sort of weird political atmosphere, and so many of the Republicans and right-wing people are saying, we love this country and this country, and then you go out to this country and you see what dire straits people are in, and you go, wait a minute, how much do you love this country, and it's like, so it's that kind of, pathos and emotion and just the weird, funny quality of running into people who look to me and say thank you for what you've done, but at the same time, it's like, well, but nobody's like supporting you, and I'm here, and this is all such a weird mix-up, and so a lot of it is about the American landscape.
Yeah, Wisconsin's actually a pretty red state at this point in time, so that's something I personally relate to more than I wish I did.
Well, I just think people are like frustrated, but they take it out on the wrong people. It's like the Democrats, the liberals, we want people to have, higher pay, minimum wage, health care, reproductive rights, education, but you got to pay for it. I mean, somebody's got to pay for it. It's got to come through taxes. It's got to come through some sort of, controlled way that everybody's, being treated fairly, and yet it's all out of whack because people with a lot of money don't want their money taken away. I mean, it's a very complicated, conversation, but we all know what it is.
Yeah, of course. Now, reaching way back, what were some of the things that actually inspired you to become a comedian and to kind of go down that road?
Well, I knew I wanted to be a performer, comedian, entertainer since I was 5 years old. I mean, I was just sort of like, I was just born with the
I
was born this way, to quote Lady Gaga. Nothing else would have ever really satisfied me. And, when you know what you want to do at such a young age, I think you just kind of come into this life knowing it, and there's really no other way to explain it.
Yeah, was there a moment that you kind of consider like your big break where you like, that's it, this is it, it's going to all work out?
Well, I mean, there was a couple of things along the way, but I'm for sure The King of Comedy with Robert De Niro and Jerry Lewis that I shot in '81 and it came out in '83 was the turning point on a big level for me. It's been pretty solid ever since.
I remember hearing, watching some of your old interviews and you talking about sitting by your phone waiting for the call to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was very harrowing and dramatic, but I did get the call and came to New York and had my final audition and got the role. So that was, it was a big deal. And I've had a very diverse and interesting career, and it continues to be.
Yeah, and I also saw that, is your daughter still kind of editing things for you?
She does. She steps in and tells me that that's not working, that's not funny, don't try that on stage, that's not happening. She's, she can be a little bit harsh, but you know what? I always say, if she's, ready to, throw me over, she'll make it in Hollywood. If you can stab your own mother in the back with about her material, then she's going to be a winner in Hollywood.
So I'm curious. I don't know your thoughts on marriage equality at all, or if you take the Susan Sarandon approach, or if you're somebody that's very pro.
Well, of course. I mean, how could you not be pro? I mean, if it allows people to get some benefits and some tax breaks, by all means. For me personally, my girlfriend and I, we're domestic partners in California. I forgot even why we did it. There was some reason. But we're not interested in getting married because it's not our thing,
Yep.
And we're in a more fortunate position of not needing certain things, that one person, gets through marriage. A person gets through marriage. So we're happy in our present arrangement.
Yeah, that's the big talk right now in Wisconsin. During Pride Fest week, actually, is probably when it's going to go through. The ACLU case, I think, as soon as next week may come before the judge here. So
great.
It's kind of the thing that everybody's paying attention to pretty closely right now.
Yeah, well, it's a kind of a fait to come play. I mean, I think North Dakota is the only place now that doesn't have some sort of, statute on the docket where something isn't, actually moving forward.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that, that'll happen there soon, too.
So what kind of things and projects do you have going in the future that you're kind of looking forward to?
Well, I mean, my scripted projects that I've co-written are two of those right now. One they're both New York based, potentially New York based scripted comedies that I would be one of the stars of. But that's it's kind of a long process. You have to find a producer. You have to take it out and pitch it to different, outlets, and it's kind of a small window of opportunity because, networks, they have a certain, demand for what they want, and then the cable companies have what they want, so you got to kind of figure it all out and go to the right place. And, once you've hit 4 or 5 or 6 places, that's it. If somebody doesn't bite, you're done with that project, and that's the nature of the beast. But there's one in particular I'm feeling really good about, so I really can't talk about it because I'm just not that kind of person.
No, that's okay. Now, is it something that if it does bite, you think would be more mainstream, or is it something that's kind of?
I think it could be. I think it could be mainstream, but I think it's still it should remain offbeat enough to be someplace. Listen, in an ideal world, now more than ever, you want to be on Netflix or one of the cable outlets because you can really take something a little bit further. Because once you hit a network, there's so many, they have their doctrine, they have their, rules and regulations, and then it kind of takes away the guts of a piece. But we'll see. I'm not saying one thing or another. We'll just see how it all plays out.
Okay. Well, again, we just have a little bit of time left for people who are coming to Fried Fest.
Yes, right. By the time I get there, they better be fried. That's a good point.
Yeah, exactly. To Pride Fest. What can you tell them they're in for?
Well, the great thing is, my show is also musical, and, I put together various excellent bands around the country, and the name of my band is the Flawless Zircons, but this is the Midwest version, and 3 musicians from Chicago who I've worked with a few times now will be driving over to accompany me on stage. It's piano, drums, and guitar. So we give people a big show. First I say it's outdoors, so, maybe the sound isn't exactly the way you want it to be, but I'm not just standing there, doing jokes and, expecting you to, just pay full attention. Because when you're singing, people can be a little bit, lazy. So I go in and out of my monologues and my funny pieces, and I do great songs, some originals, some covers. So you're getting a whole performance. You're getting a jam-packed 60 minutes of Sandy.
That's fantastic, and you're coming on a great year. The entire lineup this year is really stellar, so I'm expecting...
That's what I hear, and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you very much again for taking the time, and I can't wait to see you on stage in Milwaukee in just about 2 weeks.
Please come by and say hello afterwards. I'll be signing merchandise at the booths out there. T-shirts, CDs, DVDs, rare gems that you can only find at my show.
I'll do that, and I'll bring a copy of that Out magazine that I was telling you about.
And I'll sign it for you.
Perfect.
With great pleasure. Enjoy the Memorial Day weekend, and I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thank you. I look
Can't
forward
wait.
to it. See you soon.
Thanks, honey.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was Sandra Bernhard. Coming up next is my friend Jamel Ware telling us about the Black Trans Man Incorporated's annual conference, and he will be on. Can't wait to talk to him. So stick around, and we will be back soon.